bigger word. That's like mayonnaise. I'm sure that's the biggest word I know.
Hello, everybody, and welcome on into the Bat MLB Player Props with Derek Carty of EVAnalytics. I'm Thomas Viola, and of course, we are brought to you as always by Unabated. Check us out at unabated.com today. Thank you so much for being here with us. As always, it's another fantastic Thursday morning. We went break even last week, but we got a whole suite of props to talk about today with none other, of course, than Derek Carty of EVAnalytics. Derek, how are you doing on this fine morning?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, it's been a good start to the year for me. I feel like we've gotten off to a little bit of a slow start on this show specifically, but you know, across all the outlets I've been on this year, we're plus 16 units, 11% ROI, which is really nice. We're down 3 on this show, but it's only a matter of time until that turns around.
Yeah, we are going to get that turned around. As I managed to get to the mute button in time and save that one, but we're going to get that turned around here on this show. And like you said, the start of the season can be slow. I mean, there's a lot that we have to deal with. It's a long season at 162 games. Really, maybe shouldn't be that long if you, depending on who you talk to about baseball. But the big thing is, it takes a while to build up a sample size and really to start getting a good baseline down every year. And we're starting to get to that point where we have that baseline. We're kind of familiar with, okay, we're playing with some just straight up stones for baseballs right now. And the teams are behaving this way. The Astros are playing like the Astros right now. These are just some things that we are starting to get a baseline for here. The baseball thing is really a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The run environment's down. The ball seems to be different again. Every year, it's just like, what ball are we going to get? The bat's designed, though, to be able to account for that sort of thing and to adjust on the fly to what the run environment currently is. So that should all be baked into the projection. But like you said, early in the year, there is still a lot of uncertainty. Last year at this point in the year, it looked like the ball was going to be crazy juiced with lots of home runs, and then it kind of wasn't. So, you know, there's always uncertainty early on.
Imagine if any other sport did this. If we just had a basketball that sometimes was just it's slightly deflated, or a football that wasn't made to the same specifications every time. I mean, it's just insane that we have to deal with this, but we do. But the good news is, like you said, we are accounting for it. We are looking into it. Jack Connor says, good morning, all. Good morning, Jack. Don't forget, guys, you can drop your questions in the chat as we go along at the show. We are indeed a live show for you, and we want to answer your questions as well as talk about the props that we have to talk about here. But for now, let's get into it with some of the props that you have your eye on here for us. Derek, where are we going first, my friend, as we fire up the Unabated simulator?
Yep, this one has been dropping all morning, but we're looking at Spencer Arrighetti under 4.5, minus 121 at Bet Rivers. If you have Betway, I think they're minus 120, but we'll take the minus 121 here. This opened at 5.5 at a lot of books, like minus 150 or so, and it's just been falling pretty significantly. Pinnacle's just a big number. Arrighetti is can you see me? Am I having connection issues?
You're having a little bit, but it looks like it resolved itself. Again, worst case, sorry, Instagram viewers, but we might have to say goodbye to you guys if that's the case with what's going on here.
Okay, but yeah, Arrighetti is he's a young guy. He's, you know, a prospect, but not like an elite one. Has generally been on a pretty short leash. His last couple games, he's been 87 and 90 pitches, but the one before that was 79 in the minors. He's usually been more like 75 to 80. So there's a chance we get a short leash on him. He's facing an extremely low strikeout team in the Cleveland Indians. And even though he has been striking guys out this year, his stuff plus is really super bad. So like he doesn't project as like a massive strikeout guy, more of like a 1 per 9 type of guy. And against Cleveland, it's going to be less than that. So under 4.5 minus 121, I think is a perfectly fine number to hit him at.
Takuchi Betts, who I see in the chat every week. I mean, it's hard to forget a name like that. He says Carty, the new Fed chair, the way he prints money. I've happily made some money on the Guardians last night. I took them in game with that in the 7th when it was tied 2-2 there. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, it's been tough for the Astros so far this season, and they really haven't had too many answers, especially when it comes to this rotation. This isn't the Astros of old. And yeah, it seems like they're trying to find their way with new pitchers here. And we'll see what happens with Spencer Arrighetti. But the under 4.5, where we're looking on this one. Moving on, we got a pair of props about the next guy. Mitchell Parker is our next man up here. And we're going to be looking at his outs. Now, we're going to head over to EVAnalytics for this one, Derek. But coming pretty soon, we're going to have all of these prop markets for you on the Unabated Prop Simulator. A little bit of a teaser there for what's coming in the coming weeks, not months, weeks here at Unabated. And while you're looking for
Nice.
that,
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So we're looking at Parker's outs.
Yep. Sorry about that.
We're looking at Parker's outs right here, under 15.5. What's up?
Sorry,
am I cutting out again?
I think there's a delay between the two of us here.
Okay. Well, we're going Mitchell Parker, under 15.5 outs, minus 150 at Rivers is the best line. As you can see, it's been plummeting at other books. Caesars is the bottom at minus 214. The BATX is projecting about 13 outs here. Mitchell Parker is kind of like Arrighetti, where like he's a prospect, but not like a massive prospect. He's generally been kept on a very short leash. Even in the majors this year, like he's gone over this number only once, and it was just on like massive efficiency, because you look at his pitch counts and it's 82, 73, 81. Like this is a guy who's probably going to throw around 80 pitches or so. And it's really hard to pitch into the 6th inning on 80 pitches, especially against a good offense like Texas. So we have to pay for this one for sure. Like we're not getting this cheap, even at minus 150, but it's still showing a lot of value. And if the best you have is like that minus 180, I'm still fine with that too.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those perfect cases. We talk about this all the time with it's not the saying that some people erroneously throw around of it's not juice if you win, but it is the reality that sometimes you can find value even when you are paying a little bit higher of a price. And it's not like this is even that high of a price here at the minus 150 to minus 180 range. Like we see things that are plenty worse than this all the time as far as like minus 250 bets. Save it from
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all about the percentage of time that you're going to win compared to, the percentage that the odds imply. So this one projects to win 78% of the time. Like this one's going to win most of the time you play it. So it's fine to pay juice like that.
Exactly. It really is. And that is the other thing there. Like you're going to hit these at a higher percentage. So it's also going to feel a little bit better. Like getting a win for the weekend, but that's going to happen when you bet heavier favorites like this, but you're still finding some value on them. So it can be really good plays. The next up is still a Mitchell Parker play, though. We want to go in a different direction with his batting or BBs.
Yep. We're looking at Parker's walks allowed. Best line is at Caesars. We're going over 1.5 plus 118. The bat's projecting close to 2. And if you recall from the previous one, that's on 13 outs. Like it's not even projecting him to go very deep in the game. And it's projecting quite a few walks here. Parker hasn't walked a lot of guys in his 3 starts in the majors so far. But over the past few years in the minors, he's definitely had control issues. And Texas is a team that is above average for walks. So, if he does, he happens to go into the 6th inning somehow. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But that adds even more value here to, to the walks prop the longer he's in the game. But the bats sees him going over this even just on those 13 outs anyway. So I kind of like this one. And the two kind of hedge against each other a little bit, which is kind of nice. But there's a lot of scenarios where they both get there, obviously, because that's where the projection lies.
Justin Tingwald also pointing out the total outs that we had there under 14.5, minus 130.
Oh, is it dropped to 14? I would imagine it's going to close at 14.5 everywhere. What's the number now at 14.5?
Yeah, he's got 14.5 minus 130 at Bet Online. I don't know. What do you think on that? Are you paying too much juice for that one out? Like, is that 20 cents worth it? I feel like the value is still on the 15 with the higher juice.
Definitely on the 15, because there's a big difference between the 14 and the 15, because at the 14.5, if he finishes 5 innings, you lose. At the 15.5, if he finishes 5 innings, you still win as long as he doesn't go back out there for the 6th inning. So there's a huge difference between those. I was expecting when it flipped to 14.5 to be like, 14.5 plus 150 or something like that. If it's 14.5 minus 130, that's not good.
Yeah. And you touch on that. What is such a key number for these pitcher out props? Like, that's 5 full innings of baseball versus not finishing 5 full innings of baseball right there. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is. The probability between 14 and 15 is so drastic. Like the win percentage on those is so drastic compared to basically any other sequential out.
Yeah, it's a huge deal and something to really keep in mind. So Justin, thank you so much for commenting that. Guys, we are going to say goodbye to Instagram. We're just having too many problems on it right now. If you guys want to catch the rest of the show from Instagram, head on over to Unabated, youtube.com/Unabated live. We are going to be live right now answering some more prop questions. Feel free to come over and join us on Unabated. But for now, sorry, but we are going to say goodbye to our Instagram friends. And there we go. We have ended it on Instagram, but we are still live with you here on the YouTube channel. And there we go. We're going to continue rolling right along here, guys. Next up, we have Davis Wenzel. Man, my allergies are killing me today, Derek.
Sorry to hear it.
Yeah. Although I will say that delay that we had, Instagram was causing too many problems there. We were definitely full steam ahead now.
Nice. Okay, so we are going with Davis Wenzel, who, if you've never heard of this guy before, I don't blame you. I'm not really expecting you to, but that's kind of why there's value on guys like this. So we're looking at his under strikeouts market. Hard Rock at plus 165 is the best number. DraftKings has it open. MGM usually has this market. They'll probably open it at some point, but under half a strikeout plus 165 projects well here for Wenzel. First, he's not a massive strikeout guy anyway. He's not facing a pitcher who's a big strikeout guy, and the pinch hit risk for him is massive. There's a very good chance that once Mitchell Parker comes out of the game, which again we're not expecting him to go very deep, Wenzel is going to be pinch hit for, and that's going to be it for him. So there's a real chance here of just 2 at bats, maybe 3 at bats. So at big plus money against a pitcher who's not a huge K guy, this is showing good value.
And that's the thing, like, you get good value on these players that you kind of haven't heard of before. I mean,
yeah,
players that you haven't heard of before, players who are just coming up to the majors, things like that. You can find great spots there. It's one of the things I love with college football, and at unabated.com we do have our own college football prop projections for everybody to look at. But one of the things is like betting on the under 1.5 catches for the 5th string wide receiver of some team. Like it's stuff that you can really find value on these small plays, because these are guys that in the case of football aren't going to get as many opportunities, but in the case of baseball, the line might not be as efficient because you have a guy that's a little bit newer and a little bit more coming up. And that's too many guys and too many games for the books to really be keeping track of all that.
Yeah, exactly. The pinch hit risk for Wenzel today is 65%, according to the BATX. He projects for 2.6 plate appearances on average. Like, that's just not something that the line is accounting for.
And we talked about those pinch hit appearances last week. That's some real alpha that we've given out on the show as far as things to keep in mind to be looking at when it comes to betting on some of these guys. Because you're right, books aren't taking that into account just yet. Yahtzee saying, dang, was hoping he was a no picture guy. He's not quite that obscure, but still.
I would have thought he was a no picture for sure. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, that is very stunning to me as well. But we still have one more to get to here. Bobby Dalbec. Talk about another guy that I do not know, but that is because I honestly don't follow baseball.
Yep, we're on the same market. You can get this at any of the 3 books that offer hitter Ks, DK, MGM, Hard Rock, same line. Under 1.5, even money. You can see the bat is projecting about almost half of a strikeout under the implied here. This is another guy with a pinch hit risk. The pinch hit risk here for Dalbec is 52%. He's got an extreme hitters umpire, one of the absolute best in baseball, which is definitely going to help, reduce his strikeout chances here. He's facing a pitcher in Kyle Harrison, who's young, talented, but not a big strikeout guy. Getting 2 strikeouts when you're only projected for, let me see here, for 2.98 plate appearances, that's hard to do. Dalbec strikes out a lot. He's striking out almost 50% of the time this year, but that's going to regress. Nobody strikes out 50% of the time. He's going to be more like a 35 to 40% kind of strikeout guy. So I think this line is kind of off because of what he's done this year, which is not representative of what he's going to do going forward, and that pinch hit risk. And so, and the umpire is going to make a big difference. So this one projects really well.
And, it's worth thinking about the fact he doesn't have to get on base. He just has to not strike out. He can
not strike
hit
out.
A pop
just make contact, do a walk, like literally anything except for strikeout.
Yeah, like you have possibilities here, and it's another one of those things that blows my mind about baseball. The two things that boggle my mind about it the most. Number one, it's a sport that's so heavily analytics based, and yet not you play in different stadiums. Like not every stadium is built to the same specifications. That is what is a home run in one ballpark is not a home run in another. That is wild. The other thing is the fact that we don't have robot umpires yet, so you can clearly see that it's not a strike on your screen, and yet the umpire calling the game doesn't get the same technology and the same aid to call that you do. Makes no sense to me. Like that you actually have hitting friendly umpires versus non-ones. But I digress. Derek Carty also in the chat here pointing out Gallo, 38% K percentage in his career. Because Yahtzee was saying Gallo isn't close to 50%.
Yeah, like Gallo's the example you hold up as like someone who's just going to strike out all the time. But even as a guy who strikes out all the time, it's still only 38% for his career. Like it's nowhere near 50. So Dalbec, is basically projected, I would expect, to kind of settle in that Gallo range. 50% is just not realistic for anybody.
Yeah. Like that. And even then, it's still such a huge outlier. Like you would talk about Joey Gallo as the outlier to begin with. For another guy to get up there with him is even more wild statistically. But all right, all we need is Bobby Dalbec not to completely suck. That's he can suck. He just has to suck while making contact once in his 2 plate appearances, and then we'd be good to go.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if he only gets it's a good one. Just a little bit of contact. He gets contact on the first at bat, we become a huge favorite.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. That would be a nice early cash in the day for us here. That's a 1:35 p.m. game too. So a good thing to sweat while you're working today. I know I'm going to have my eye on that one as we come down the pipe here. But for now, Derek, that's going to do it for us as far as the props that we have. Anybody, if you want to throw your plays in, throw them into the chat right now while I recap the plays that we've said so far for RW Fan 23 in the chat here. But throw your plays in, throw the things that you want us to talk about and look for value on as I sneeze one more time. Okay. I'll try and hold out for a little bit longer, but man, the allergies are just, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. Oh, anyway, for RW fan here, we have Spencer Arrighetti at under 4.5 strikeouts, -115 at points bet. Mitchell Parker, under 15.5 outs, -150 at Bet Rivers. Also, Mitchell Parker, over 1.5 walks allowed, +118 at Caesars. Davis Wenzel, under 0.5 strikeouts at +165. And then Bobby Dalbec, under 1.5 strikeouts, even money at DK, Bet MGM, and Hard Rock. That is going to do it as far as the plays that we have. Adonelzium will remember your plight eventually. It's a mouthful of a name here. Anything interesting at all in the Marlins game today? Let's fire up the simulator here and see if we can't find something. Why don't we, Derek?
Sure. So, is there a way to filter by game?
Yes. I believe if you just go, yeah, if you just type in Marlins, just type in MAR and it'll do it.
Okay. So we got Edward Cabrera strikeouts. A little bit of value on his under, not a ton. Let's see. Total bases. Let's run this. We can sort for the best line.
We're pulling out all the stops here, finding a play for this guy.
I mean, a little bit on Ryan McMahon's under, but not huge. Home runs. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing on home runs. That's kind of been the case this year with the run environment being down and home runs being down.
Yeah.
Just that market as a whole is showing so little value this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then hits. Josh Bell under half a hit, +190. That's about, that looks like solid value. I wouldn't mind betting. Or this Blackman one looks okay too.
There we go. I'd say, yeah. I'd say that Charlie Blackman or Josh Bell under half a hit. Keep in mind, these are higher variance plays. We could very easily go 0 for 2 on these, but we could also very easily go 2-0 or 1-1.
I mean, these are ones that you're betting because you're getting such good odds on. Like, this is probably like, 45% to win or something like that, if I were to guess.
Yeah, it's going to be. These are higher variance plays, so be aware that you might lose more of these than you win, but your break-even percentage is lower than 50%, so that's okay. So just be aware of that, Adonel. That's what I'm calling you there, because that is a whole lot. I will say, just real quick, over on the main lines here, nothing on the Marlins game, but that Guardians-Astros game, you got a fat edge at BetOnline on the under 5.5 first 5 innings. Go ahead, I'm gonna have to go and take some of that if I can find it there. But under 5.5 -113 at BetOnline is some fantastic value for you on the slate this morning. Now let's go to some others here. Ryan Schulte says, "Thanks, guys. Suggestion to help, maybe to let us know who these people are play for. Hard to keep track of every player in Major League Baseball." I agree. The issue is I don't know either, so I can't tell you that.
I'll make it a point when we do these to mention the team too. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. I understand that, especially since we're picking guys like Davis Wenzel. Like,
yeah, you could give me 32 guesses and I'm not getting that one.
Yeah.
David Hayward says Blackman is out. So, okay, Bell, JB, and he's down to +165 over at Caesars now. So he's even further off the 190, of course. Killing us. But Dane Myers under half a K. Dane Myers at +185. Tyler Jackson wants to know.
We can take a look at that. Dane Myers. I'm not seeing it. I'm guessing because this only shows guys that are in the Bats projected lineup. I can pull up a projection for him though. Dane Myers projected for 0.78 Ks. So at what was the number? Plus 185. Yeah, that's probably good value. I like that. Yeah, you just have to hope he's in the lineup, but if not, it just voids anyway. So
Myers is spelled Myers. Maybe that's why.
No, not in there.
All right. But yes, you still probably have some good value on that, Tyler.
Yeah. He'll show up at some point, I'm sure, if he's in the lineup. But yeah, that's going to be good value.
Yahtzee wants to know Esteban Florial plus 285 for an RBI.
Well, let's take a look. So yeah, it looks like lines really differ on this. There's 100 points between the top and the bottom. At the 285, there's some value. At any other number, not really.
Yeah, you're catching a very nice line there on that one over at Bet Rivers. They're a little bit asleep at the wheel on this one, so go ahead and take that. I'm sure it's not going to be there very long. Maybe fire up a second account to spread the money around on that one because Bet Rivers definitely loves limiting people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that is something, like Captain Jack talks about on his live streams here all the time about the art of sports betting. And one of the things that you want to watch out for when it comes to betting on some of these props, it doesn't really apply to this one because the line is so far off from everybody else. But when you have other options, like one book has minus 120, another book has minus 125, another book has minus 130, and your edge is roughly the same through all of those, just a little bit worse. You can, if you're trying to get down volume on a prop and you've got like maybe $300 that you want to get down, you can spread that out and do like 120, 80 on, or the math doesn't, 120, 90, 90.
Yeah.
Like you can spread it out across multiple books there and just eat some of that edge for the sake of keeping your account alive and keeping those bets a little bit lower so that you fly a little bit more under the radar. Yeah, saying there like maybe a half unit play. Yeah, like definitely on something like that for an RBI. Like that's another such high variance play. I'd throw half a unit on that probably.
Yeah, I can actually tell you 29% win percentage. So like, you're probably not doing a full unit on that one. You're going to lose more often than you win, but when you win, you're going to get paid out pretty nicely.
Yeah. And that's definitely something that I recommend, like especially if you're going to be playing like RBI, hit, or home run props. Those are very high variance plays, and you don't necessarily want to be throwing a whole unit on them because there are just times where you could go like 0 and 10 through 10 of those. That's something that's very possible for it to happen. So you got to be ready to ride out those waves. The other thing that you really want to watch out for, especially with home runs, is that a ton of the time they're not priced correctly at all. Like Mookie Betts could be at what, plus 180 to hit a home run in a day, and it really should be priced around like plus 300 or something like that. It's just a ton of the time you're not getting the right value on those. Like Jack loves to talk about,
especially on stars. Like you're not going to get the value.
Yeah, like the guys that you want to hit home runs are not priced at prices that you want to bet on those. Yahtzee saying, always appreciate the help, guys. Love the walks, Ks, and RBIs markets. We love them too. And again, coming to Unabated, coming to Prop Simulator real soon. So be sure to check that out. Next couple weeks here. I'm hoping that next week when we sit down for this show, we'll be able to show it all off. If not, hopefully the following week here. And I probably shouldn't be putting a definitive timeline on it like that, but we're very close to the finish line on those. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we've been going for half an hour. My allergies are killing me. So I think now is a good time for us to call it here. Thank you so much for being with us as always. And again, as always, you can check out unabated.com. Use the link in the description of this video. Sign up for a one-on-one demo. I will personally be the one sitting down with you. Like 90% of the time, these are going to be me sitting down with you to take you through, show you the props tools that we have used on the show here today, show you the mainline market tools that we have to help you, all of this great stuff here for you. We have a ton of things to help you, including, of course, the ability with our prop simulator to sync it with your EVAnalytics account so you can just import your BATX numbers directly in. It is super easy. John Kissel is going to break it in at the buzzer here, Derek. He's got one more for you. Thoughts on Rodon's under 5.5 strikeouts, which is something we can actually answer using the Unabated prop simulator right here. So while you pull that up, I'll finish my spiel of saying use that link in the bio, sign up for a walkthrough, and I will bring you through these wonderful tools myself. Well, maybe we can't. Where is he? You had it spelled
He's
right.
right here. Oh, it's because of the.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
All right. This one basically showing no value.
Yeah, nothing there for you, John. Quiluna, good to see you in the chat again, as always, saying thanks, guys. But yeah, like I said, that'll do it for us this week. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I will be live with Adam Shearer from EVAnalytics as we talk about the NBA prop slate. We are getting very much to the skinny pickings when it comes to NBA games, but we will be talking about them. Yahtzee saying variance coming our way. Yes, it is. It is time for us to start making that positive upswing. Let's make some money. Let's cash some tickets. We'll see y'all next week right here, same time, same place on the Unabated Live YouTube channel. Don't forget, throw us that like and subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, for Derek Carty from EVAnalytics, I'm Tom Viola from Unabated saying best of luck, everybody. Let's cash some tickets. We'll see you next week.